Okay, we should be back online. Is that any better? Let's give it a moment to stabilize. I just started past 2. And it seems better. I don't know why it's jumpy. But it seems to be better now on my side. What do you guys see? For anyone who's stuck around, or is nobody sticking around? Okay, so if you get back in, okay, so who's back in? Hey, Louise. Yeah, I had my video feed was very slow, so what I did was I restarted my internet connection. So this is the Fokoos laser, the FE20. It's a 5-watt output laser, 20 watt of power input, and I'm doing a cut test on it. I normally don't use CO2 lasers, or sorry, I don't normally use diode lasers for cutting. I normally use a CO2 laser, but I'm going to give this a run with the diode laser. I know Jerry has done cutting with a 5-watt laser, and John and a couple of others have done it. But I'm going to give this a run. I'm doing 3 I'm going to probably do 3, maybe 4 passes. I'm guessing 4 because I increased the speed a little bit. So this is past 2. I want to see how it comes out, and the video feed seems to be more stable now. Prior to this it was very jumpy, so I did a restart of my internet connection. It seems to be going okay so far. Let's see, we have 5 people. Hey guys, how are you? Good morning or afternoon or wherever you are. I just kicked off. I did 1 pass of the laser a while ago, and it was going okay, but the video feed was kind of jumpy out to Twitch. Hey Dora, how are you? You asked me to do a cut, and my cut yesterday didn't work very well because I chose wrong settings, so I'm doing another one for you right now. And this is a simple little box that will actually clip together and will interlock, so it'll show accuracy of your laser. This is pass number 2. And it's cutting. It's doing a good job. I'm guessing because I increased the speed a little bit faster than I did yesterday, I'm going to have to do maybe 1 or 2 extra passes. So I'm doing speed is set to, just so you know, in case you want to try it yourself, this is 3mm plywood. The speed is set to 170 at 100%, and it was focused to the material. Actually, it's focused out of focus a little bit, and the reason why is you don't want to focus when you're cutting to be at the top of the material. You want it to be in the middle of the material that you're cutting. So if you're focusing at 3mm, if it's 3mm ply, you want to be focused at 1.5mm is what you want to be focused at, down from the surface halfway through the material. And then when you run your burn, the energy of the laser is in the middle of the material, the highest energy. So it's better for cutting. So it's out of focus from at the top level a little bit for that reason. And it's cutting nice. Now this is a little chamber I have that has fume extraction. So you see some smoke, but the smoke has been extracted out of the room. to the outside. So I will have some pictures of this later on. I can send them on to you for later if you want, if you'd like them. And some of the engraving that I've done some engraving. You'll see them there at the side, there to the left and to the right. They're test engraves. I'm just using those to raise the piece off the surface when I'm cutting, so it's only balancing on the edge of them to allow the laser to pass through when it actually gets to the other side of the material. So this is only pass number 2 I'm running. I'm guessing I'll have to run 3 or 4 passes, but instead of doing them in sequence, I'm doing them individually. And it seems every time I hit go, it goes back on track, so it's doing a good job. It's cutting in the right area. So if anyone has any questions, please chime in. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. This is going nice and cleanly. It's running without problem. I'm using Lightburn. I can use laser Gerbil, but I'm actually using Lightburn right now. If you want to show other people this working, Dora, you can feel free to share the link, because this is going to take maybe another hour, because I'm going to do multiple passes. So if you want to share it out, I didn't share it out only to the few people I know that will be online this time of day. Know about this feed. There's only 6 people, including yourself. But if you want other people to come in and watch it doing a cut, feel free to share the link. You just share the link to twitch.tv/AstroPrinter, and they can come in and watch. This is a diode laser that can do engraving and cutting. It is not it's not specifically designed for cutting. But they can do them. Diode lasers are really good for engraving. As you see, the images laid out around it were actually engraved by this laser, and they came out really well. But with very slow, with slow motion and high power settings, you can actually cut. So it's cutting 3mm plywood right now. It's going to take multiple passes because a diode laser does not have the power of some higher end lasers. It's 5 watt, and like normally, if I'm doing real cutting, if I'm going to do some real cutting, I will turn around and use my CO2 laser. But I wanted to show that you can actually cut with a diode laser also. So I'm making a box, and there's actually a website, I think it's called Box Maker, where you can actually enter the material dimensions and the box dimensions and the thickness of the material, and it will design a box for you like this with interleaving fingers and so on, and then you can use that to get an SVG file out of there, and you can use that SVG file to do your cutting. It's pretty easy to do. So this is the 5 watt Fokoos, which is a new laser about to be announced actually tonight. So I'm showing it now because it's been announced tonight. It's the FE20. I believe the FE stands for Fokoos Engraver, and 20 meaning the power input is 20, but the output is 5 watts of the power of the laser. Now also consider that a diode laser has multiple outputs, or a variety, because it can output. The output is for diode laser is often a range, so it's often between 4 and 5.5, 4 and 5.5 watts. Hey, old curmudgeon, how are you? So that's pass 2. I'm going to run an individual pass 3 to make this box. So I'm going to hit start again. I'm going to start pass number 3. Yeah, I don't have Friday mornings are sporadic for me about calls, so I can do this now because I have the opportunity, and I worked late last night anyway. As Dora knows, I was chatting with Dora late last night. And Dora is actually in chat, is actually on stream right with us. She's actually watching right now in chat. So this is pass number 3, and it's looking pretty clean so far. I'm probably going to run 4 passes and see how it looks. I will leave it in place and push in each one of them and see if they pop out. Well, you should be doing your degree work. I agree, Louise. You should be. Don't let the flashy lights of the laser distract you. So this is going well so far. I'm guessing I'll have to do a 4th pass. So I'm doing this at a speed of 170. This is 3 millimeters, but I did adjust the focus, so the focus is actually it's a 3 millimeter material. My focus point is at 1.5 millimeters inside the material, which you should be doing for cutting. You should, because per pass you can do about 1 millimeter or so, 1.5 millimeters, and you want the energy point of the laser to be inside the material, not on the surface. Yes, 1.5 millimeters inside the material is what I did. But I'm doing, I sped it up from yesterday, because yesterday I saw an awful lot of charring, and which is okay, which is expected, right? So I decided to do a very simple, a more easier box, because living hinges can be tricky on diode lasers. They're easier to do with a CO2 laser because it ablates the material faster, it doesn't burn. So I decided to do it slightly faster this time. So I'm doing it at 170 per pass and at 100% power, so it is moving a little faster, so I'll have to do a few more passes. This is pass number 3. I'm going to do pass 4 and test to see if they pop out. If not, I will leave it as is and I'll do a 5th pass. But after pass 5, at the most, these parts should pop out. And it looks like it's actually doing a really good job of it. So I'm happy with the outcome. Let me go over to the laser and see. I don't think anything is dropped out of its position because it'll kind of wedge in there. But let me have a quick look. To show accuracy, each pass is actually cutting dead on the next pass. So there is no overlapping of the lines or anything. It's actually going right down the center of each line as it cuts, which is perfect. That indicates that the motion accuracy of the laser is good, right? If you yesterday, I think I did have it go off a little bit, and it's because I think it's snagged on something. So, but it's right now it's going fine. And this is pass number 3, and after each pass it homes and it resumes back to exactly on the line each time, so that means the motion accuracy is good of the laser. And because of the laser not having a fixed focus, as in not being 20 or 30 millimeters off the material, you have the ability to put in higher, like deeper material, like say a couple of inches deep or a couple of centimeters deep, under the laser and focus on that to engrave. So you're not limited to the 20 millimeters, like some other lasers. You do have a longer. Now, saying that, more concentration of light and a shorter light path is more optimal for burning, but most people use diode lasers not for cutting, but they actually use them for engraving. And so, but this can cut, as you can see. It is cutting well. So we have snow coming here later on today, so it's going to get chilly this evening. We're supposed to have sporadic snow flurries this afternoon and this evening. Cool. We've 7 people on already. Incoming. Okay, here comes trouble. Hey Zolan, how are you? So this is I decided to do a different box. Andrew Sow. Hey Andrew. How is life? Did someone just, no, they didn't raid. Oh, it's raiding, cool. Thanks Llama for raiding over here. So we're doing some laser cutting with the Fokoos laser. I know you're homesick, yeah, that sucks, I'm sorry. Welcome guys. If you haven't already guys, since you come in here, click on the follow button below the feed, below the video. We're doing some laser cutting with a 5-watt diode laser, which is a brand new laser, and it was actually going to be Dora's going to do a big announcement tonight, and Dora's actually in chat. Well, she was in chat. I don't know if she's still there, but she was in chat. And what's happened? So they're going to announce the laser. I've had the laser for a while, for about a month or two, and it works really well. I've done some engraving. You see some examples of engraving around the side of it there on some test pieces I have done, and the engraving comes out really nice and clean. I was doing some cutting of a living hinge yesterday, but I was kind of going a bit too slow. I should have done it faster with more passes, but I didn't, and I kind of charred it up, so I decided to do a more simple box today. I'll need to do some testing with a living hinge to get the optimal settings. But this is pass number 3. It's 3 millimeter Baltic birch ply. Hey Llama, I'm doing some cutting today. Factoid man. That's become a term of endearment. You know that, Llama, right? It's not. I don't. That's not insulting. That's a term of endearment now from you. Oh, Zona, I want one so bad. Yeah, it's a nice little laser. Its build area is 370 by 410. I believe. I can double check. I believe that's what is the build area. Let me just quickly. Actually, I don't want to play with it. It's in. I don't want to play with the settings in Lightburn. Oh, hey Matt, how are you? Wow, Matt turned up and there's no giveaway. What's going on? Hey Chris. So this is going well. This is pass 3. Once this finishes, I will just touch each one to see if they pop out. I'm guessing I'll have to do 1 or 2 more passes. Just make sure that they may make it go all the way through. But let's see how it goes after I do one or so. He's on a call now, so he's gone again. Okay, so I know you built a laser. Yeah, I saw that, Ben. So a 500 milliwatt is good for engraving. It'll be slow, but it's good for engraving, and they're fine. If you want to cut, you really want to get into the 5 or higher, 5 watt, not 500 milliwatt. You want to go to like the 5,000 milliwatt lasers to get really into cutting. I have some half a watt, which is what you're running, lasers. I have 2 of them, and they're fine for engraving materials like wood and leather and so on. But if you want to cut, you want to up that power. So a 5 watt is great. A 10 watt's even better, but it'll cut faster. This is a 5 watt. It's a FE20, the Fokoos Engraver 20, I believe is the FE stands for. It is a 20 watt power in, 5 watt laser out. So it's just about to finish pass number 3, and when it does, I'll go test. I'll just touch some of them and see if they pop out. If they do, great. If they don't, I'll do another pass. I'm guessing, you know what, I might just run another pass anyway, just to be sure, because I did speed it up, so I'm guessing I will need another pass. So does anyone have any questions on this? So that's pass 3 done. Well, you know what I do actually, you can imagine, if you want to line something up, I put a box around it, and then after putting a box around whatever my part is, I hide the part I want to engrave, and leave the box around it, or the circle around it on, and I put down card paper, and I'll run it over the card paper, and it'll mark the card paper. Then from that moment on, every time I drop something into that spot in the card paper, I can actually run the main job, and it will just engrave it. You'd be amazed. You don't need an awful lot. Like Jerry built one out of a board. He got a laser Gerbil board that cost, I don't know, $45, $45, and that runs his CNC, and it also ran the same thing is also running his home built laser, and it's a 5-watt laser. So I don't think you'd have a problem running. You'd be amazed that they don't take that much power. So let's do pass number 4, and as I said, I'm manually kicking them off. I don't want to do it. I'm not automating it. So here we go. Pass number 4 started, and after pass 4 is done, I will test to see if they drop down, because the piece of wood is actually suspended above. By 3 millimeters above the surface, and on the bottom of the bed, I don't know if you can see it there, to make sure it doesn't burn through when it goes through the other end. I don't have a wasteboard underneath it. What I've done is I put down aluminum foil, because I know the laser will not pass through aluminum foil. It won't cut aluminum foil, and if it does, it'll end up cutting out through my my enclosure, because it's one of those tinted enclosures for printers. I think the MKS Gen will actually support that, because you must remember the PWM port can output, well, some of them are 12 volts or whatever, and most lasers are 12 or 24. I don't think you'd have a problem running a 5-watt or maybe even a 10-watt, because even this is built for a 5-watt, and a lot of the other similar size ones are built for 5-watt. You can upgrade the laser heads to 10 watts. And that's the output of the laser, by the way. Because like you can run a laser on a all you need is a PWM port, because that's what the diodes use, pulse width modulation, and you could run a laser on an Arduino, because that's basically all of a 3D printer board is anyway. It's an Arduino board, right? And if you have an actual 3D printer board that you want to use, you can actually see if you can get flash SmoothieWare on the 3D printer board, and that would then simulate like Gerbil, and you could use it to run a CNC or a laser. So you just run the PWM port on the for the part cooling fan, because that's PWM. The speed of it can be varied, whereas the hot end cooling fan is always on. It's not PWM. You could do that as well, Andrew. Yeah, use it as a gate. You could do that, like similar to as you use with a solid relay for heating beds and so on. You could do something like that. So this seems to be doing a decent job. It's nice and clean. It's not as charred as it was yesterday. Now, if you want to clean up charring, or if you want to cut and you know there's going to be charring and you want to have less soot or tar, because the black stuff is appearing on the top is actually tar. If you want less tar appearing on the surface of the material, you coat it with Lama's favorite, blue tape, or you could use masking tape, but blue tape comes off easier. And you could, when you're done, you peel the tape off, and all the tar that would sit in the surface actually lands on top of the tape. It'd be interesting to load Laser Gerbil onto Creality. I don't think you can load Laser Gerbil straight onto Creality boards. Well, they're not laser. It's like Gerbil. You can't load Gerbil onto the board. I think you need to use SmoothieWare. I've heard of being done with SmoothieWare. I've never heard of Gerbil. I don't believe a full Gerbil supports that as many range of hardware as Marlin does. So you'll probably run it. That's why people go to SmoothieWare instead rather than using Gerbil in those cases. Check it out, but I don't believe you can. I don't think the hardware supported. The laser was cheap and excuse me. Yeah, well, diode lasers are not designed in most cases to run 100%, right? Unless you have a 100% duty cycle laser. And most diode lasers, I wouldn't say most, but there's a lot of diode lasers out there that are not full duty cycle. So running them at 100% does shorten the life of them. Now, I have some lasers that are full duty cycle, and I have some that are not. The ones that are not, I never use for cutting. I believe this may be, but I'd have to check with Dora, and our Dora will have to check with our engineers if it is or not. But as you see here, this is multiple passes and it's going nice and clean. I'll do a test in a moment to see if any of them pop out, and if they do, I'll be good. Okay, thanks, Olan. We're up to 12 people watching the laser right now, so this is kind of cool. Having fun with lasers is always good, right? Actually, I should have changed the title to this. It says Maker Hangout, but it's not really. Let me change the title of this. Let me just change the title. Okay. I did. Well, you don't have to use it in Stream Manager. You can just use it in the stream. You can just hit the edit button on the screen. I've done that. So this is still cutting nicely. I'm pleased with the output. And this is pass 4, and it looks clean. So let this finish, and then I will, because it's got 2 more pieces to do. It's got this one and the one to its left. The one to its left is the last piece. And I will then do a quick test. So you'll see my hands popping into the screen to see if the parts drop out or if they're close to. I may have to run one more pass, so just give me one moment. Let's see how that goes. Nice and clean still. Excellent. Oh, Zolan, do me a favor. Do a start drop. Let's see if it works, because it's set up. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but let's see if it does. Just give me 1 second. I may have to open the page. Tell me if this affects the video feed. It says they're cute. It's working. Excellent. Is it working? Cool. Let's get it going. Hey everyone, guys, cue up a drop. Let's see if we can get this working. It looks okay on my side. Yeah, I see you have it queued up, yeah. Is the drop audio on? It is. I just want to make sure I had the audio on for drop. So we're finally getting games working. Yeah, it's been a bit of a pain. Actually, it looked like it took time. Let's see who's going in for the win. Everyone who's loopy is looking good. She's aiming for it. Oh no, she's going to override. She's going to overfly. Nobody's going to get this one, guys. Nobody. The good screen cap is a laser cutting. I'm not actually going to be on screen for this one. This is just because I'm doing other stuff I'm working during the day. So I'm just grabbing the I'm just showing the laser. Dora was on a while ago. I don't know if she's still on. She's probably gone to bed at this point. Ben Brady heading in, trying to get it on his own, is he? He might make it. Is he going to overshoot? What do you think, guys? Oh, is Ben going to make it? Oh no, he overshot. Just put up saying, just put up some text saying, doing some laser cutting with the new Fokoos FE20 laser. Fokoos, F as in Frank, E for Echo, FE20. So let me do a quick check and see if this works. And I'm going to test to see if they pop out. They may not. They may need one more pass. So let me, one moment, guys. Yeah, they need more. So I'm going to give it another run. So who won that time? Yeah, it needs one more. Cool. Nice landing. Almost dead center. Excellent. So I'm going to do another run. And let's see how it goes. Do another pass. And in this pass, just because it's I'm going to try and make it the last one, I'm going to slow it down to 150. This should be the last pass. Actually, I'll do, yeah, 150 should be okay. And it's optimized for cut path, set at 150, 100. So let's go. Hopefully this will make it all the way through. And again, it's dead on the line. If you watch it there, guys, it's right on center. Excellent. So you're queuing the drop again? I'm getting into some of this drop action. I know it's my own, but still. Oh, nobody else dropped. It's not that it's slow. Well, I'm working, but I can do this during the day because I work out of home, so I have the ability to kick stuff off, and it's lunchtime. So since it's lunchtime, I can, because I get up at 5 a.m. so 11, 12 o'clock is my lunch. Around that time in the morning, I often take lunch. No, you don't get lunch, you take lunch. You don't give them the option, you just do it. I know, you've been sick so long. Hey guys, for any of you out there who haven't already followed the channel, please click on the follow button right below the video stream, the little heart icon, so you can start following the stream. I try and stream on a regular basis. I often show what I'm testing at the moment. Like right now I'm testing this laser. This laser is going to be announced officially tonight, and Dora was on earlier on from Fokoos. So we have some cutting done. I've done some engraving as well. You can see samples of some of the engraving I've done on the sides of the sample piece of wood on each side, and it came out really nice. So we're going to do some cutting and let's see how the laser handles some 3mm ply. and so far the position tracking has been good because I'm done individual passes instead of doing instead of setting up and doing what am I looking to say, multiple passes in one go. I'm doing individuals because I want to be able to control it a bit better. But so far it's cutting right down the line. But so I've had this about 6 or 8 weeks, this laser. I wasn't doing an unboxing because they didn't want everyone to see it until it had arrived in the US. So it arrived in the US this week. Yeah, Lama's been sick as well, and his mom actually, Lama's mom got started getting sick as well as of yesterday or last night. But I think he thinks it's a tummy bug of some form. Yeah, he seems to be improving, but as I said, his mom was sick last night. Oh, by the way, the gamble feature is on as well, guys, and you should have points. If you don't have points, we can fix that. But the gamble feature is enabled if you want to play around with that as well. That is working. Yep. Raffle is working as well. Yeah. So you should join in and have fun with that. Ben, it's bang, give points in this, bang. Isn't it give points? Let me check it. Let me check the commands. Give points username. Oh, that's it, right? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Give points. Where's Ben's name? And I have to give them to you as well, tripod. There you go. Oh, I'm out of points. How come I'm out of points? I shouldn't be out of points. Oh yeah, I had points to myself. Oh, it won't allow me. That's weird. So it says I only have 8,000 points, or 80,000. So I can fix that. I can give super mod. Let's see if I can fix that. I don't know if I can fix super mod. Let me see. I don't know how to make you super mod. Zolan. Oh, add points. Oh yeah, that's true. It's the add points, isn't it? Add points. Ben Brady. Oh, he left, did he? Oh. What? Are you guys still there? I did the @ symbol. Oh, there we go. That's it. Right. I'm learning. I'll do the same for tripod. Here we go, guys. Well, everybody already has points, so every now and again I'll bump them. Don't worry. Yeah, follows are free. We have 16 people watching right now. So for those who are just after joining, this is the Fokoos FE20 laser. It is a 5 watt output laser, 20 watt power input. I'm doing, this is 3mm plywood, and I'm actually cutting it. You see some samples of some engraving on each side of it there, but the box that I'm actually that you see in this dead center there, I'm actually cutting that out with the laser. It is, so that is, let me check, see if that has gone all the way through. Just give me one moment. Yep. So let me move the camera, guys. It's not perfect. I could have done one more pass, but I'll get it out. So then we have the parts and the interlock clean. So let me move over to my desk. Give me one moment, guys. Let's see if this goes off. And there we go. My cool glasses. How are you? So let's see what's happening in chat. This is not cardboard. This is actually 3mm plywood. And it's cut. There's a bit of charring. Would you expect some tar around the edge, which is normal. And the parts, this is the base. It needs a bit of cleanup along the edges there, but the base and the sides all slot together nice and cleanly. And you see here, it's not glued, so it won't stay together. So we have another side piece here. Oh no, that's the wrong one, sorry. It needs to be glued as I go. Let me do this on a table, it's going to be easier. I can get it roughly into shape and then I can show you. What's chat saying? Okay, so this is 3mm plywood that's after being cut using the Fokoos FE20 laser engraver, and there's our part. Nice fitting box. And it worked great. Now if you look closely, these are nice tidy joints. Everything fit, okay, it's not tight because it needs to be glued together. A little bit of cleanup, but all in all, everything goes together nice and clean. Minus the glue, of course. But it fits together cleanly. So, we know it cuts, we know it engraves. I can show you some samples of the engraving. I can bring it over just one moment. So I run my laser in a 3D printer enclosure that has a fan extractor in the back, so the fumes are sucked out of the house. So this is the output for the box that I just showed you. This is what was a test, but I set it too light. But this came out really nice. This part here engraved really nice. I can show you the detail. So it came out really nice and clean. I also did on the other side of that, since it's Chinese New Year coming up, I did this logo for Happy New Year. This is the year of the tiger, hence the tiger in the center. And then I did one of the tests that I'm considering as a possible logo for me in future. Yes, I did a test for that, and it came out nice and clean. So it's a nice little laser actually. It took 5 passes, and that's because I was going pretty fast because I didn't want it to overchar. Hey, Rich, how are you? From under the hot end, how is life? Let's see who else is. Yeah, the flowers do look fantastic. They came out really well. Let's see who else is in. Everyone's gambling, feeding the habit. Yeah, but so it cut really well. The engraving came out really nice. So, and I have a few different lasers. Like I have multiple lasers right here. Nice. I have a rack. I have 3 that I mount here, and I have some smaller ones as well. It cuts. It engraves really nicely. I use Lightburn. That drop always give her a haircut. That's funny. I'm wearing this because it's cold in Michigan. It's supposed to, tomorrow's high is supposed to be something like 2 or 3 degrees or something silly like that. So it's supposed to get colder as the day goes on, and the temperature is supposed to nosedive, and we're supposed to be getting snow flurries as well. But the box cut. I'm just trying to get it back together again because I don't have it glued, so I'm just holding it together by hand. But the cut of the box came out really nice and assembled really easy, and the base is nice and clean. You could engrave logos or text or whatever you like on the sides of these. I just did a cut, but I could actually have put text in each one of these, and when they went together, they would have something written on them, or images or whatever, and it would come. And you can even do them with lids if you want one with a lid. Or a complete box with a solid top. It's up to you, but there's different ways you can do it, or you can do living hinges. The living hinge one I did yesterday didn't come out so great. It was overly charred, the hinge part was, because instead of doing one pass and then doing the pass again, it was when each line of the living hinge it passed over three times and then moved on to the next one, and because it was doing 3 times in the same spot, that caused the yeah, it's really good precision. If you look at a hinge here, you can see how tight they fit, and along the bottom there too. And this is just held together by hand. If they're glued together and pushed together and glued, they would fit obviously much better. So, so you end up getting a nice little wooden box, and it cut fine. So I said it was 5 passes I did it with, because I didn't want to overchar. Now this charring, there's a few ways of getting rid of this charring, and I think I can show you a sample of that. Can I? No, I don't have a sample of it. So what you can do is to get rid of the charring is before you cut, you can cover this with painter's tape or masking tape. Painter's tape is easier to get off. And hey Llama, blue painter's tape. Llama can't exist without painter's tape. So you can put the painter's tape over the material, and when you cut, what happens is all of the tar that you see along the edge here and on the parts that were cut, so you can see here there is tarring along the side here, all the black stuff, and right there you see along the edge, all that tar will actually land on the tape, and then you peel the tape off and you're done, because it cleans it up. Or what the other option is, use a bit of acetone on a rag, wipe it off. It will dissolve off the acetone. Obviously, wipe from the inside outwards to clean it away. And you could use grit sandpaper. Why use sandpaper if the finish is good already? You can just clean it off afterwards. But if you rub it with acetone and let the acetone dry off, you got a finished part because it'll remove all that tar. Actually, I wonder if, I think even IPA will do it. Let me try some IPA. 1 second. I think a drop of IPA would even dissolve it off. I got resin printers, so I always have IPA at hand. So let's try a little bit. So we're going to try this area here that's pretty tarred up. IPA does a good job of it. Not as good as acetone will do though, because you want to dissolve the tar, and IPA is not really designed for that, but it helps. Let it dry. We'll show it to you. It got some of it off, but it would be cleaner if you did some acetone. So see what else is going on. Everyone's gambling and raffling. Oi, Dora, is Dora still here? Is she still in stream? I didn't. She was here earlier. Oh, there you are, Dora. Hey, Dora. So the cutting is done. I don't know if you've seen the results, but it cut really nicely. And the outcome of putting the parts together, they're being held together by hand right now. These should be glued together with a little drop of wood glue. But the outcome is a working box with nice, clean cut lines. Oh, there. So that's the outcome of the laser cutting. So it came out really nice. They have, I'm sure your engineers have done some testing with cuts as well, but this came out really clean. We have 16 people watching. Cool. So guys, if you haven't already been on the channel before, please hit the follow button on the bottom. It's good. So this came out really well. I'm happy with it. I do have to do testing with living hinges about getting optimal settings for that. I'm guessing I'll have to cut at lower power or at a higher speed of rate and do a lot more passes over the living hinge areas, because they're so small and narrow. You have to be really careful about how you do those. A CO2 laser would rip through it no problem. It would do this in one pass because of the amount of energy it gives off. But with a fiber, or with the diode lasers, you have to do multiple passes to get through that. It doesn't have the output power, but the outcome is really good. If you want, Dora, I can send you pictures if you want them for your stream later. I'm happy to do so. I can grab a couple of shots and send them out to you. So it came out really good. So so we'll say, what curve do you allow for the what do you mean, what curve? Okay, when you're doing cutting, one important thing about cutting materials, especially harder materials, with a diode laser, well, with any laser, not only a diode, is take into account the thickness of the material. Your focus point should not be on the surface. If your laser in one pass can do about 1 millimeter or so deep, you should be setting your focus point to be the middle of the wood, not the top. It should be in the midway between the wood, because you want the concentration of energy to be in there of the light. If you do it at the top, the concentration is going to be at the top, and it's going to weaken the moment it passes to the surface. So you want the energy to be concentrated in the center, so you drop your focal point to be in the middle of the piece of wood. So if you're doing a 2 millimeter piece of wood, you should be focused at 1 millimeter off the surface, and so on. And that way then you get the most concentrated energy at that point, and it will burn beyond that, so that will get you further deeper into the material. So that's something you have to take into account when you're doing it. What did you say there? Yeah, I'll share in the group. I will share on the group. I will share it on the Fokoos user group if I have your okay to do so. Now that you're announcing it today, I'll share some of the photographs of the engraving on it. I'll show the cutting. I can even share a link to the feed, the Twitch feed here, so people can actually watch it happen if they wish to. I can put that out there. And I'll do it in the Fokoos group, and I'll do it on my stuff, on my groups as well. Let's see, do you have to make allowance for the width of lost material? to an extent. Let me show you actually. The amount of variation is so small, it's less than a millimeter. Is that the right one? Let me see here. Right. I'm going to fit one of these back in there. If it'll stay. And I'll show you that the amount of cut is so small. You're losing about a half a millimeter is all, or less. So like, if you see here, in the real dead center of that, there's so little in there. So you're not really losing much. So it's really, really, really clean. As I said, you're losing maybe at most, at maximum, you're going to lose a millimeter. Now, that will depend to some extent on the thickness of your material. If you're doing 1 millimeter, you're not going to lose anything. It's going to be very, very, very precise. If you're doing like 3 millimeters, you might lose out on 1. The reason why is the laser beam comes down at an angle, and it comes down in a triangle to a focus point. So the top and the bottom of that focal point is going to be wider because the beam is coming into it like this, and then the bottom is going as it leaves the focal point, it's widening out again. So you're going to have a slight V shape on the edges, and that's just the nature of. Actually, if you look at this, you'll see there's a slight angle to it. Let me see if I can do it on a straighter edge. There you go. You see there's a slight angle to it. It's not straight, and it won't be because the beam comes down at an angle and cuts. So take care, Dora. So so you have to know that you're not going to get a straight line. You never get a straight line. The only way to get a straight line out of a laser is to pass it through multiple lenses to correct for the light, the beam. Okay, and that's not easy to do. So, but you can do it. It's just it becomes very expensive to get a laser beam to be perfectly straight, to be a straight beam of light. Like I even have other handheld lasers, and the beam of light comes out of those, but they broaden over distance. So that's just the nature of it. Of course, Dorian, my pleasure. And this is I like this laser. It came out nice. These cuts came out really clean. Oh, there's a part that I cleaned earlier on that it dried. So you get it even cleaner if you use a bit of acetone to clean off the tar, because that black or that brown edge and so on is tar. Yeah, follows are free, guys. If you just joined, following costs nothing. You just hit the follow button, and then hit the bell beside to get notified when I do go live. I go live fairly regularly. I'm new to Twitch, but I've been on YouTube for a long time. The wood burning kit. What wood burning kit? I don't know what you're referring to. I don't have, unless you're referring to the laser, which then yes. Well, yesterday my settings were my mistake with the living hinge, but today it came out really nice and clean. And the output, because Groggy, I don't think you were here a while ago when I showed everybody else. Oh, it just fell apart on me. Okay, I'm going to have to hold this by hand because I haven't glued it in place. But the output from that laser that I did a box, because I did a box today, and I tweaked my settings somewhat. Is this cut nice and clean, not glued, so it does fall apart, which is expected, but the cuts are really good. So came out nice. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It came out really well. So anybody have any other questions? So it's a 5-watt laser output. Input is 20 watts power. So they list it as 20 watts. It's actually 5 watts out. And I think they're going to tweak the marketing a little bit to state 5-watt output, 20-watt input, because stating 20 watts is kind of misleading. The highest power on a diode laser you can get is actually 7 watt output. After that, you have to double up the diodes to get higher output. So you see some places advertising 14 watt lasers. They are two 7 watt lasers in that actually and the beams, they're lined up, so there's two diodes and they come out through a prism as a single beam. Why? Oh, is it jumpy? Oh, I didn't do the living hinge. Oh, that's weird. Let me stop the drop game. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, I think the drop game is hitting my machine hard. I need to get a more powerful computer. Yeah, when I stopped the drop game, the feed came back. Okay, so the drop game is impacting my machine. Okay, well, I'm actually going to do an experiment. I'm going to experiment a little bit with NDI. Zolan suggested it, that I can maybe run one thing on one game, like the drop game on one side, and then run something else over here on two machines. It's not a 486, it's an i5 Pro. It's a ThinkPad. I need to go up with something a lot more powerful though, yeah. And I'm sure running Lightburn on here is not helping it, because I'm running multiple apps on here. But the Fokoos FE20, nice laser. Engraving, cutting, all successful. We have engraving there, and this is an example of the engraving here, and then we have this. Came out really nice. I'm happy with it. Any questions? Loopy's in looking for all of the points, I see. Let's give her some competition, guys. Everybody hit join. Let's give Loopy some competition. What do you mean with the DX? Yeah, they turn out really good. I'm happy with them. The results is really good. And they popped right out. There was one that didn't go 100%. It could have been the variation thickness of wood. This one here especially. But that's small. I mean, it's nothing. And there's a little bit here. And that could be due to the slight variations in the thickness of material. But it did pop out. You just coax it out a little bit and out it came. And all you do then is a drop of wood glue, put it together, and you're done. Tweeted me out again, thank you. A drop of sanding will fix that. You don't need, yeah, a drop of sanding or rub over the edge with a blade or whatever. Yeah, X-Acto, yeah. I generally use these, and I just trim off the edges slightly with the blade and it's done. Or an X-Acto knife would do it as well. But it came out really good. Many people, 14 watching, cool. You know, I need to stream one more day. Tomorrow, I'll stream a little bit tomorrow. To get to affiliate. I'm actually really close to being an affiliate. I checked it earlier on, and I hadn't streamed today, so I'm sure I had 2 days of streaming to do, and that's all I needed to reach the affiliate level, which is nice. Who's multi-raffle? Okay, I would take 40 grit. I wouldn't. If you use the 40 grit drum sander on that, the whole part would probably disappear. Something that coarse. Snipped what? Oh, you won. Oh, okay. Cool. So, any other questions about the laser? You've seen the laser, what it looks like. I've shown you what the laser looks like. I need to, let me see if I can get the laser. Let me resize this, 1 second guys, so it fits. That's the wrong one. I should be resizing. Don't worry about it. I'll just go back. I'll sort the laser. I was actually resizing myself. That's better. So yeah, I'm going to. I did some updates in the machine, some changes, and I lost all my my scenes. So I have to go back and reset all those up, which is easy enough. But so, any other questions? Any guys have any questions? I have to. I can't stay on much longer. I actually have a day job to do. Oh, yeah, I'm not. Sorry, Zolan. Reach out to Tim. He might know. Go out into their Discord. Join the TH3D Discord. I'm sure there's guys out there who've done it. Well, we have a duel. Cool. Alright. I'm going to wrap up. Let's see if there's anybody out there that we know that's streaming. I don't see anybody out there streaming right now. None of our usual suspects are out there. Tim, but I'm sure he know. But someone in his groups, in his Discord groups, may. So you should go out and ask the guys in the groups, because to use his equipment, they may have it running with Clipper. So yeah, I don't see anyone out there to do a raid of. We tried a raid a few days ago of a channel we didn't know. Just because they had good numbers, we decided just to push our membership over there because we're doing maker stuff. And they got upset about it because we did a raid. So, oh, you're going to spin up, Zolan? Okay, if you spin up, Zolan, I will do a raid over to you. We have 15 people watching, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you haven't already, hit the follow button, please do. It's down below, it's a little heart icon. Costs you nothing. All it does is let you know and hit the notifications so you get notified when I do go live. Yeah, see, the problem is rating someone of high. The guys I normally watch are not up. There's none on right now. They're normally streaming in late afternoon or evenings. Zolan's going to spin up, he said. And if you don't know the guys, like I'd raid Chris Perillo, no problem, because I've messaged Chris over and back, and he's open to that. But I'd raid Loyal's channel, but raiding somebody you don't know, they can get upset about it, and they have had. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm glad you've got something out of it. If you haven't 3D Mechanics, please click the follow button so you get notified. My video's gone jumpy again. I must be having internet problems. And I just rebooted my internet router. Well, I'll be doing more with this laser, and I will stream them out here because I know they're announcing it tonight. And going forward, there's going to be more. There's more stuff coming up. I believe they haven't said when they're going to do the larger Fokoos printer. I don't think they've announced that yet. I haven't heard anything. If I do, and if I happen to get one, I'll show it to everybody here. Hey Jerry. Hey Matt. We're actually getting ready to wrap up. Hey, wow, they apparently don't know how to Twitch, but they have been issues with hate raises. Well, yeah, and the guys I go over it, like it was a maker channel, and the guys got upset about it. So it is what it is. You're up, okay? I don't see you as active yet. Just give me a moment. It takes a few moments for it to show up in the dashboard. But let me get into the dashboard. Actually, it'll be easier to do it from there. Go to Creator Dashboard. 1 second. And we'll get online there. Oh no, that's not what I want. Apparently there's some that don't want more viewers. I agree. I think it's weird, but one second. Let me go back here. 1 second. Yeah, I'll just do it because through command. Yeah, just give me a second. I just need the Twitch screen up though to do it. So we're going to go over and raid Zolan because there he is. He's online now. I see him. So we're going to do raid Zolan. One second. Come on, why is it so slow? Everything's hanging up on me, guys. 1 second. Even my keyboard is slow. There we go. Z-O. Okay, let's go. See if this works. It's just queuing him up. Right now. Okay guys, thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you around, okay? I'll probably be on again tomorrow morning at some point.